Hello language learners and gamers, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to play Heading into Language Land. This is a game that's designed to make your language learning process truly unforgettable. In fact, it's much more than a game. It's an immersive social experience that you can enjoy with your family and friends. You can play this game no matter what target language you're learning, and there are online and printable versions as well. The last thing I want to mention is we're playing this game online every Saturday, so you can actually come out and play it with us online if you really want to experience it that way. More details on that at languagecardgames.com. Now, this deck is my own. I actually just opened it up because my last one was getting pretty worn. I had been playing with it for a while. And so I gave some of those cards away to friends and children just as little gifts and prizes, and I opened up for myself a new game deck. So this is brand new, and it just looks amazing. I'm really proud of all the work that the artists put in and the work that I put in. Every single piece of artwork in this game is an original piece that was made by a professional artist. I worked with a team of about 12 artists to bring my vision to life, and you can see their names on the bottom of every card. So the artwork is incredible, and the quality of the cards is incredible. Now, the first thing you'll want to do is remove the non-game cards. There's a few artwork cards or story cards in the game, so we would remove those. They're not in the online version, actually, but they are in the printable and real deck versions. So we take those out, and then the next thing you want to do is choose the character that you want to be. Most of the characters, you can tell they're a character just by looking at them. It's not too hard. You can be anything you want. You can be a monster or you can be a wizard. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to choose to be this guy, who's actually modeled after me because I wanted to put myself into the game. So I made a wizard that looks like me. And I did this because I want to remind all of you that we can design your own character card or game card as well. We could design your own character, your own monster, your own special place. This is something that I do with my players and fans sometimes, and it's a way that we can really make you feel like you're a part of this world, and we can put topics and powers that really resonate with you on your game card. So this is one that I designed to inspire myself. It's sort of like my alter ego. So I'm going to choose him, and I've got the sticker pawn here as well. I've got a 6-sided die to roll for chance, and I've got a 20-sided die to keep track of my own longevity points, which are essentially life points. We start at 3, and every time you speak successfully, you basically move up a point. Every time you don't know what to say or speak really poorly, you may lose a point, and if you drop down to 0 points, then you're sort of knocked out of the world. You lose the game. And, you know, one of the great things about this game is it's highly adaptable to be played in different ways. So you can play more or less competitively if you want to. You can play more cooperatively. You can help each other. The points don't really matter. They're just kind of a gimmick. So don't get hung up on that. All right, I'm going to shuffle these cards. First time to shuffle this beautiful new deck. These cards are really high quality. I make sure of that. So they are just excellent to hold and to shuffle. They have linen finish, and they're printed on black core cardstock, so they are really like casino grade cards. That said, I would recommend you put them in sleeves to protect them so that they last for a very long time. I don't put mine in sleeves because it often creates a glare on the camera so people can't see what I'm showing. So that's why I don't usually have mine sleeved on camera. But otherwise, I would have them in the deck protectors. Okay, so I shuffle up the cards, and then I use the cards to build a board. You can build the board in any size or shape that you want. So just imagine, if you cover the table with cards, you and your friends can move so freely and really explore a world. I love doing that. Especially children, they get that right away. They love to put all the cards out and sort of range across the tabletop. Sometimes I've even played on the floor and just put the whole deck out. So it's so fun because you really feel like you're exploring a world and exploring your language at the same time. There's different types of cards. I'm not sure what we're going to encounter, but let's just jump right in. The very first thing you want to do is flip over a card to indicate where you want to go or where you hope to go. You do not roll a dice first in this game and then move. Although if you really wanted to, you could. Again, this game is highly adaptable. It's easy to bend to, bend it to your will the way you want to play. But by the standard rules, we flip over a card first to indicate where we want to move to. And what's happened just now is I've encountered an enemy. And how I know he's an enemy is because we have opposite color names. Again, you can choose anything basically that you want to be in this game. I could have chosen to be the Tweetsy, and if I encountered him, we would be enemies. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Opposite color names are enemies. So what I have to do in this case is I have to roll this dice and speak about a topic on my card because I want to activate my powers to defeat this enemy. So let's just roll it and see what happens. Okay, it's a 3. So you will see on the cards there's 4 numbered topics, numbered 2, 3, 4, 5. Generally, they go from easy to hard as the number gets higher. But you don't see number 1, number 6. Why is that? Number 1 is unlucky. If you roll a 1, another player can choose your topic for you. So they can try to trip you up. They can try to make you speak about something that you're avoiding to speak about because maybe you don't know. So they can sort of target you that way. And if you roll a 6 is lucky, and that lets you choose any topic that you want to talk about. But I rolled a 3, so I have to speak about a travel item, something that I would need when I travel. So maybe I would talk about earplugs or a suitcase or a phone charger, something like that I would take with me when I travel. Again, you can speak in any target language you want. And I think this game is even fun to play in your native language. It's really built to inspire you to be a language learner in general. It's meant to excite you about learning new things. There's a lot of categories in this game that stretched my knowledge and my understanding when I designed it. Now, we have a blank study guide that comes with the rule book that you can fill out, and it can sort of aid your study and your preparation to play this game. We also have some pre-built study guides in several languages, and we plan to add more. We have Spanish, Mandarin, and Japanese, and Turkish is currently being worked on. But anyway, I would speak about a travel item according to my ability level. Maybe I would say a single word or a short phrase or a sentence, or even enter into a short dialogue or conversation with the other players. It just depends on, what you feel comfortable with, what your level is, how the players want to do it. But basically, you try to speak about this topic. If you can do that successfully, then you take a certain action, and that depends on the type of card you've encountered. I'll try not to get into the weeds on that today. It takes a little bit of learning at first, but it's not really that difficult. If you defeat an enemy, it's going to be put into a sort of recycle pile. We call it the cycle pile. And it possibly could come back later. If you run out of cards, you can shuffle and they will come back in, you see. But basically, he's defeated. And then I replace the space with a new card from the deck. I don't look at it. I successfully move, and then I add 1 to my longevity points. So you see, you only actually get to move if you speak successfully. If you don't speak successfully, if you don't know what to say, or you're really struggling, then you don't get to move. You would lose 1 longevity point. And, if you really want to keep things, a little more friendly, not so super competitive, then you would go and look up something you could have said. You try to learn. Okay, and I know that some players, one thing that they do is, if they don't know how to speak on the thing, they take a pass. They pass their turn and they try to learn about that thing. And then maybe they try again on their next turn. So you really can adapt it. So the game would continue on like this. On my next turn, it depends on how the board looks. If it looks kind of like this, let me move these cards just a little bit. You can try to move to any card that's next to you, even on the diagonal. So imagine there's a grid all around me. And let's say I want to move diagonally up to here. Well, then remember, I flip over that card. Okay, this one's actually an ally because it has the same color name as mine. It's a white name, and I also have a white name, so we're allies. There's special locations, there's weapons, there's animals, there's all sorts of things, and the types of actions we take are slightly different depending on what we encounter. But assuming I roll the dice and speak successfully, she would join my team, replace the card, move to there, up 1 point. If you accumulate more and more characters and weapons and animals on your team, then you're going to have more options in terms of what you can speak about in order to defeat enemies that you encounter on the board and also to defeat other players in battle. So it's good to build up a strong team if you can. One of the things that I like about this game is if players mess up, if they have trouble to speak and they can't take the card, it stays there. It gets flipped back over. So you might like to remember where certain things are and go to get them if other players couldn't, you see. So there's sort of a spatial and a memory aspect to this game as well, which I really love. And I love the randomosity of it too, because every game's different. Every board is different. You never know what you're going to encounter. It's a little bit random every time. So you really have to think on your feet. You have to be able to speak really naturally and organically about different topics that come up. So I just think it's really good for the brain. It makes the thinking and the speaking more flexible and more quick. The next thing I want to mention is, I don't have another pawn handy at the moment. I forgot to grab one. But if there's another player next to me, and I move to the same space as them, well, then we can go on into a head-to-head battle. And I would speak about topics on my team, they would speak about topics on their team. Assuming we both can do that, we have a roll-off to determine the victor. And the victor stays on the space, and the loser gets knocked off, but they can re-enter if they still have some more life points. They can come back in on their next turn. So it's sort of like sparring in that way. Let me show you these amazing cards again before you go. Now that they're shuffled up, you can see some amazing locations, some cool fighters. This is like a ghost type creature, the word wraith. And something you'll love is that there's a 10,000 word story that I wrote behind this game to back up this game. So there's a story of language learning wizards and monsters that you can peruse for your enjoyment. You can learn about all these characters. You can learn about some of their language learning tactics and philosophies. So it's a tremendous amount of value. You get the cards, you get a study guide, you get the storybook, there's foil cards, card commissions, and we're playing online every Saturday. So it's a really unique and impactful way to add enrichment to your language learning journey. I wouldn't advise you only use this method, of course. I see this as an enrichment resource or an enrichment tool that you would build in to your more traditional study routine. So maybe you play this game once or twice a week, or maybe you play it, once a week with family, and once a month you come out and play with us online, something like that. And what that's going to do is remind you that language learning can and should be fun. It should not be that hard to absorb a lot of interesting things. Sometimes I think we need to return to the childlike mind, which is like a sponge. My daughter is learning so much language so fast, Mandarin and English, and the thing is, because she's just so full of life, her eyes light up when she sees a game like this, and she wants to learn all about it. That's the kind of mindset we need to absorb language well. We need our curiosity, and we need excitement, and we need a sense that we're truly entering into another world, a language learning world. So to learn more, you can visit languagecardgames.com, and there's a playlist for this game right here on my YouTube channel. Look for the Heading into Language Land playlist. Don't click on the Heading into Language Land 2 playlist unless you want to see game development videos for the next edition of this game. That's it for this one. I'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye for now.